Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the trucks or tractor units in Euro Truck Simulator 2. Now, before we go any further, I'm going to say this is not an opinion piece. I'm not going to tell you which truck you should buy. Ultimately, this is a very subjective decision. It's based on your emotions, how you feel behind the wheel of whatever truck it is you pick. All I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the individual trucks. We're going to take a look around them. We're going to take a look inside. We're going to take them for a spin. I'm going to show you the add-ons that you can use, the mods that you can use that will enhance your experience, and some of the factors that may affect your decision when picking certain trucks. Let's get into it. So, you've done your first job in the game. You've driven your first truck, and now you've got some options in front of you. And the game will tell you, well, you can't move freely about the world because you don't own a truck. Okay, so you've got a couple of options here, and one of them is to keep doing the quick jobs. You also will have some emails introducing your first truck manufacturer. In my case here, it's Scania. We've got some used trucks for sale, and we can borrow some money from the bank. Now, the bank will allow us to borrow 100,000 euros, and we have to pay 2,888 euros back because they like money. So here's what we can do. We can borrow that 100,000 euros and we can go straight in and we can buy a used truck. Now, there are plenty of options available here, and these are all pretty good. They're all in good condition. That's not going to be the case later on. You will see that the first page is usually very poor condition trucks for more money. So we'll go through these, we'll have a look, and we say to ourselves, oh, you know, I really like the look of, say, the Scania, right? But the problem is you haven't driven it. So you've no idea how it handles, you've no idea what it's like inside. And that's going to be the same with all of these, unless it's the first one that you drove and you really absolutely fell in love with it. But you're not going to want to make that decision yet. There is also going to be the truck dealer that contacted you. So you can go and you can visit that dealer, but you're going to see that your options here are going to be fairly limited. Now, the base truck here is 118,000 euros. Well, with our 100,000 and 5,000 that we've currently got, we don't have enough money to be able to buy even the base truck in the dealership. And that's going to be the same, obviously, for the one up from that. And these ones, well, we have to be level 16 to unlock that. And same for that, and then level 20 to unlock that one, level 25. So we've got a long way to go before we can actually get into some of these trucks. So your decision really becomes kind of important because you're going to be driving around in whatever truck you buy for quite a while. So what's the best thing to do? Well, in my opinion, and this is my best advice, but it is entirely up to you, you can do one of two things. You can go straight in and you can buy a reasonably cheap truck, drive it around for a bit, make a load of money, and then go and buy something better. Or you can go to the quick jobs and you can start test driving the trucks. And I think that this is a really great option because a lot of the trucks that you see here are going to be available for you to buy later on, and some of the base trucks that are available that we saw in the used truck market are going to be here anyway. So what you can do is you can scan through whatever quick jobs here, you can look and you can try and find the base model of the truck that you saw in the used truck market and go and take it for a test drive. Now, just be warned that there are going to be some trucks in the quick jobs that aren't going to be available to you buy, and I'm talking about the electric ones. The electric ones are not actually available to buy. The reason for that is because there are no electric charging points currently in the game at gas stations for you to be able to charge them, so they're only available when doing quick jobs. So just bear that in mind. Now, obviously, once you've landed on a truck that you really like, then you can go and buy it. But you're also going to want to know what you can do to it later on, what's important about your purchase. Certain things that, you know, you will look at, such as horsepower, fuel tanks, transmission, etc., will also have an impact on the kinds of jobs that you can do going forward. Now, it's not going to matter a huge amount to start with. It will start to matter later on. So you want something that's going to be a reasonable all-rounder as well. But it's your decision. It's the kind of things that, you know, are personal. What kind of jobs are you going to like to do? Because if you want to do, say, normal cargo jobs, it's not going to matter all that much. You don't want something with huge amount of horsepower. You know, you can get a good all-rounder that's going to get you about, and as long as you like driving it, then who cares at the end of the day? So there it is. Now what we'll do is we'll go and take a look at the individual trucks. I'm going to load up my other profile because this is a profile that I just set up for this to show you what your first options are. What are you going to get when you have completed your first job? Because that's kind of important. It's going to be what's available to you, what money's available to you. And there's no point in me showing you a profile that's completely open and has all these options. You're going to go, oh my God, I really want that, but why can't I get it? Well, this is why you can't get it, because it's not available to you yet. So I just thought I'd show you this, and hopefully that will give you a good indication. If you're just starting into the game, if you're just coming into Euro Truck Simulator 2, it's, you know, I think that there are plenty of videos out there about what's the best truck, or, you know, which is the nicest. It's you. Ultimately, it's down to you. What do you think the nicest truck to drive is, and what are you going to be happiest trawling around this huge map in, taking all sorts of deliveries? And that is ultimately what it comes down to, guys. Before I get into the trucks themselves, we're going to go through something that I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and that is the mods. Now, if you come to Steam Workshop and you type in Euro Truck Simulator 2, it is going to bring up a whole array of mods. Now, I've discussed this in another video, but I'm specifically discussing this here because when I load into my main profile, you are probably going to see some things that you don't have in the base game. So if you're a new player and you are coming in, you're going to see, how has he got real logos, or how the hell has he got those for that particular truck? Well, I got them here. Now, on the right hand side, you were going to see that there are all these mods for DAF, Iveco, MAN, Mercedes, etc, etc. And you can get mods for individual parts, and they're all on the right side here. Now, how do you apply those within the game? Well, if you decide that you like the look of a mod and you come over, you can see this plus sign here. And if you click on that plus sign, that is now ticked. That tick means that not only are you subscribed to that item, but that item will now appear in your mods within Euro Truck Simulator 2. And I will very quickly show you how to add those to your game. But before I do that, I'm also going to very quickly mention a couple of other things. So let's have a look at real truck physics. Now, I have realistic truck physics mod, which will mean that my trucks will drive a little bit differently to yours. If you just have the base game, you don't have any mods attached. There's also realistic weather. There is a plethora of things within this game that you can add that just enhance the experience 1000%. It is incredible. The modding community in this game are absolute gold. They really are. And the community within Euro Truck Simulator 2 and American Truck Simulator, I will also add, are superb. They're really good people. So if you've got any questions and you don't know how to do something, it is always worth finding some people that play the game and asking the question, whether that be on Reddit, on Steam, whatever. Even coming here or any other videos that you can find on this, it is always worth asking, because they are well worth adding to the game. So how do you add them? Okay, so as I said, I've already got some mods activated. So if we click on the mods here, when it decides it's going to load, there we go. Now, you'll see I've got some here that I haven't activated yet. So all you have to do is you just click on these individually. You'll see that that's grayed out. You click on the arrow and it will move it across here. That means now it's green and that is an active mod. And then to remove any mods that you're not happy with, then obviously you can click the arrow back and that's now removed the mod. Now, one thing to note about mods, as you'll see there, that one's incompatible. I actually subscribed to that one, but it's not compatible at the moment. And also, sometimes when SCS software do updates, the mods then don't work properly. This is just whilst the modders fix the compatibility issue, and then they will start working in. They're always on top of it, so don't think that it's broken. It is just going to take some time for them to catch up with the in-game updates. So just bear that in mind. Okay, so we're going to get to the nitty-gritty. We'll start having a look at the trucks, and the first trucks that we're going to look at are going to be the Iveco. Now, I'm not going to go through every single aspect of each particular truck. That's just going to be counterproductive and boring for you. So we're just going to go over a few basics. We'll go over some of the interiors that you can get. So I'll show you the basic, and then I'll show you the upgraded versions of the interiors, those that are available, that is. And then we'll take them for a quick spin, and it will give you some idea of what is available once you start unlocking things. But starting with the Iveco, there are currently two models that you can have with this. Obviously, we've got the basic version, which has 310 horsepower and 1,200 litre fuel tank. And then we have the upgraded version.
Economy Plus? For the discerning passenger.
Which has a 560 horsepower engine and, again, a 1,200 litre fuel tank with an upgraded gearbox. So let's have a look at the interiors. Now, the interiors are the same for both of these, so we'll just go to the upgraded version and we will have a look. So on the inside of this one, as you can see, reasonably basic, not too bad, not absolutely atrocious, but again, reasonably basic. We just have a look at the back there, space. Not that that makes any difference to you as the driver. You're not really going to be able to do much. There are mods that you can get that will take you to the back there, but really you can't do anything. So it's pretty meaningless. So that's the interior. You can either have the standard UK version, or you can have the European or American version if you like. Let's have a look at the outside. So I've got a load of paint jobs, but you can, jazz these up as you like. So we'll just have a quick gander at what we can do with these. You can put your bull bars on. You can change your mirrors to the chrome versions or paint. So you can actually, you can jazz this up and make it look as snazzy as you like. And actually, this isn't the worst truck in the world. And, people will say, oh, avoid the Iveco trucks. One man's meat, is another man's poison. So you can pretty much do whatever you want. If you really like this truck, you can make it look, reasonably snazzy. It's not going to be world-breakingly good, but it's, it's nice enough. And you can upgrade the chassis. Now, obviously, whatever you do to the chassis and the engine and the transmission is going to change what the vehicle can actually achieve out on the road. So if we just change back to the normal, you're going to see that it's mainly for normal cargo. If we go to the 6x4, you can see that we're now able to do much more of the heavy cargo. And then, of course, we've got the top engine on there, but if we go down to the transmission, you can put a bigger transmission, which means you can have heavier loads. Uneven terrain, hill traversal. It's going to slightly reduce your maneuverability, but this can be a jack of all trades. So again, it's not the worst truck in the world, and if you like it, then go drive it. It's not that bad. I drove it and it's okay. It's not a bad starter truck, if I'm being brutally honest. So that's the Iveco. It's nice. Like I said, it's really not too bad. And there are plenty of things that you can do. And actually, let's have a look at the inside. Now, there are packs that I've got. You'll see this SISL Mega Pack, which is a mod, and it allows you to have all of these extra, items that you can have sitting in your truck. So, if you like that particular mug, you can put it there. Seat items, you've got the extras in here. There's lots. Oh, Pokemon. We've got Star Wars. You can have Ben Kenobi. Hello there. And various other things. We can have a cat. You can have those accessories at the back here. pillow item, so if you like that kind of thing, that's there. And also we can have, you know, Star Wars posters. You can have, and we can't really see that there, but you can see it's slightly faded at the back there. Light box, Union Jack, Yorkshire Rose. Although I'm from Lancashire, I don't know why the hell I would want that in my truck, but you know, it is what it is. So there you go. That's the Iveco, and again, not too bad. It's not, you know, the worst thing in the world. Visibility is okay in it, but again, we'll get to those things when we take it for a drive. Okay, so moving on to the Renault, we have the T-Sleeper and the T-High Sleeper. Now, there are two versions of that, and again, it comes down to engine size and the fuel litre tank. So this one has a bigger fuel tank at 1045, but less horsepower at 480. This one has a smaller fuel tank at 765, but a larger engine size at 520 horsepower. Now, 765 litres isn't too bad. You really start to notice the difference with fuel tanks if you get dropped down to the 400s, which we'll come across later on. But again, overall, not a bad truck. The interiors are pretty much the same with all of them. We're just coming into this one. Now, this, I believe, is a DLC pack, and this is actually quite nice. It's very similar to what you get with the basic. It's just about the leather seats and the trim, but overall not too bad, the interior. And yeah, I mean, it's how you view it. It's plasticky, it looks plasticky, but does it matter? You're not actually going to feel it. It's just how it looks. So if it looks nice to you and if you like driving it, then, you know, crack on. There's so much you can do with all of these trucks. Again, we can put whatever accessories onto it that we want. And we can paint it however we want. Now, I have a paint job that I got from, here we go, from one of the packs. I actually quite like it. It's quite snazzy. Again, one man's meat is another man's poison, and ultimately you might not like it. You might prefer something else. But again, you know, you can make this truck look as nice or as, you know, plain as you want it to be. It is entirely up to you. As you can see, we can do so much to it, from the tires, the rims, you name it, you can do it. Chassis sizes, well, as you would expect, you pretty much got a range of everything. And if you wanted to, like I said, if you wanted to build a fleet of trucks that do everything, then, you know, you can have varying different versions of the same cab with different chassis and different engines on it, and they will pretty much do what you need them to do. And you've just got to watch the stats on the right hand side, and it tells you that any of the changes that you're making, what they will mean for you driving around. And that's, you know, transmission, chassis, etc. There you go. I mean, now we can do hill traversal, uneven terrain, heavy cargo, but our maneuverability has dropped right down, which you would expect with a longer chassis on the truck. But again, you can buy several of these and you can have one for each particular job if this is the only truck that you like driving around in. So, you know, crack on, go for it, whatever you want to do. But that's the Renault. We'll move on to the next one. Now, moving on to the MAN trucks, you are going to see some options here that will not appear for you when you load into these, unless you have the MAN TGX DLC pack, which I think is worth getting, in my opinion. But, you know, again, that's up to you entirely. If we look at the basic model of the TGX, no, we don't want to purchase it. Look inside the interior, and, you know, it's reasonable. It's quite nice, fairly basic. Small display there, but again, it's okay. Visibility is not too bad. We've got our mirrors there, and you again can do pretty much whatever you want to it. Let's put a paint job on it, for instance. Let's put something a bit more snazzy than that. So let's go with that. And you can actually have the front of this truck in full paint. I have some extra options, as you can see, because I downloaded the mods, but it makes the front of the truck look a little bit nicer. And you can, you know, pimp it out however you want. and it looks pretty reasonable. However, let's take a look at the TGX, which again I'm going to say is worth it. We'll look at this particular one here, which is one of the nicer ones. Again, this is my opinion. Other people may well disagree with me, so you know, I'm just giving you a viewpoint that you can look. Well, that's nicer. It's a much nicer interior, and you can actually have an even nicer version. It's just got a bit of a red trim to it, you know, nothing over the top. But as you can see, the display size is much bigger, so it makes for a nicer experience when driving. Also, the thing that this has is it has the camera mirrors, which are here. So when you're driving, you don't necessarily have to have this second camera up here, which is what I had when I first started driving. I had the second camera because obviously you don't see what's going on this side. You can have your you seat as far back as you want it to be, but you know, in terms of experience and you know, feeling like you're actually driving a truck, you don't want to be too far away from the steering wheel. So again, these cameras are really nice. They also have a proximity alert as well, where this goes yellow. Lets you know that there's vehicles or obstacles on either side. So that's, you know, again, it's quite a handy, nice little feature that I enjoyed. I quite like that. And again, I really like driving it. I'm going to say I don't think that there is really a bad truck in this game. And some people are going to say, well, the Ivecos are bloody awful. Yeah, they're not the best, but they're not awful. They're not absolutely terrible. It's a good starter truck. It'll get you, you know, from A to B. It'll get you where you need to be, and it will get you some money. And that's what you're aiming for, is to earn yourself some money. But again, I quite, you know, it's a nice truck. I quite like it. It's got all the options that you would expect. I mean, that's increased our heavy cargo, obvious reduction in normal cargo, but you know, all of the chassis options are there as you would expect, and you can pretty much do whatever you want to carry whatever cargo you want. So again, MAN is kind of a nice mid-range option, I would say, you know, but there is plenty available. And if you get the DLC pack, you were going to add the TGX to what's available as well, and it's worth it. Again, I got it on sale. It's very cheap, so 100% worth looking out for. I mean, when they do a sale, they really do a sale. It's like 72% off. It's ridiculously cheap, so you know, do look out for things like that. But that's the MAN, and we'll move on next to DAF. Okay, so moving on to the DAF trucks, and there are a few things to take note of here. Mainly aesthetic, other than the obvious fuel capacity and engine sizes. So we'll go through them. We have the XF, we have the XD. We've got the XD sleeper there. The XF Space Aero, which is obviously the larger version, and then we have the XG. So, what are the differences? Well, let's go through them. So, the XF, now obviously that comes in a smaller engine size, but you can upgrade all of these. So, you know, at this stage, I would say some things don't matter. Fuel capacity is obviously going to matter. However, you might be able to change the tanks on these. I don't know about every single configuration as far as these things are concerned. Let's just check to see if we can change the fuel capacity. Yes, we can. So you can actually upgrade the fuel tanks for some of these. So if you like a particular cab, but it has a small fuel capacity, there are some cases where you can upgrade them. There are some cases where you can't, though. So that's worth checking first. Now, let's get into the interior. So this has a pretty nice interior. I really like the display sizes in this particular model. I also believe that you can actually put the digital cameras on this model. Yes, you can. So that puts everything in front of you, which for me is really, really nice. Okay. Now, obviously, we're going to see some differences again. The raised midsection of the floor in the smaller height cabs is a thing. The higher the cab, generally speaking, means you've got a flat floor. Okay, so it's not too bad. It's not actually a bad looking cab at all. I actually like aesthetically the front of the truck itself as well. It looks nice. What's the difference in the interiors? Well, we've got the normal hexagon version, and then we have the 2025 version. We've got the Argenta and the 2025 version, and the Natura, which also has a 2025 version. What's the difference? Well, mainly the difference is going to be here. You will see that it's got the updated parking brake, because there really isn't much other than that. So it's just, a couple of updated things. I think mainly the parking brake, but that's, that's by the by. So that's that particular model. Now, talking about the display size in that one, let's have a look at the XD. So we go into the XD, and again, nice big display. Raised floor in the midsection, and obviously we've got a much smaller cab because it's a day cab. We've got our fridge and drinks cup holders and stuff like that. And again, very similar. Parking brake is the difference there. As you can see, it's got the more modernized parking brake. As for the exterior itself, let's have a look. I don't think you can put the digital cameras on it, but I might be wrong. Yes, you can. So we can actually put the digital cameras on this one as well, which again is really nice. So nice big display size, not a bad looking cab. Pretty basic, but overall, again, everything is there for you, and it's not a bad looking cab, not a bad looking space to be. So let's have a look at the XG, and again, very nice. There we have the flat midsection of the floor, like I was saying. Underbed storage, and again, same difference. We're going to see the more modernized parking brake on the 2025 version over the normal version. And with this one, again, we can have the cameras. So nice, lots of paint, obviously options, etc, etc. Now here's where we start to see difference in the XF. So let's take a look. Now in this version we have a much smaller display. It's the info display, or the radio, the entertainment center there, and the actual dash display is much smaller. Again, nice sized cab. And you can have some pretty nice interiors with this as well. So we have the exclusive, which is, it's got that nice orange trim to it. Seats look pretty nice. Nice carpet there with the XF logo. Not bad. Really nice looking. Unfortunately, like I said, I don't like this as much. It's not bad. I'm not as keen on the display size as I am the other one. You also have the, you can go all wood trim if you like that sort of thing.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Now, if I remember rightly, this may be the one where we can't, so we can't have camera mirrors on this one. So no digital mirrors on this particular version. But again, I mean, it's a nice looking truck. If you like that, if you can handle, some of the things that you are not going to get in the cab of this, because you like the aesthetics of the truck, go for it. It's really nice. It's a really nice looking truck, but there are just a few things that you are going to be missing out on with the XF Superspace. Again, if we come back to this one, you see that this has the really nice size displays, but again, the quality of the interior of the Superspace was you know, a lot nicer aesthetically. So if you like that and you can put up with not having the large displays, then that is something to consider. So moving on to the Scania, we have the Scania R and the Scania S, and they come in a normal and a Highline version, and then we have the high roof versions. So let's go through these. We'll look at the Scania R. Again, not a bad interior. The displays aren't as big as they are in the DAF, but I actually, again, I quite like this. It's not too bad at all. I actually like the look of the Scania trucks as well, and I see them all the time. Now, I can't remember where I got the exclusive V8 version, but this, again, it's, you know, that's nice. It's got the nice V8 logo there. But what's the difference between the R and the S? Well, at first glance, there isn't a lot. But you're going to see this raised midsection in the cab. And if we go to the S, you're not going to see the raised midsection. You're going to see that it's flat. The other thing about the S over the R is the front of the truck. You're going to see the higher grille section here over the R. So you'll see there, it's got that slightly higher grille section over the grille section of the R. And that's pretty much it. That's all you're going to see. Now, there's the obvious, you know, horsepower or the engine size and the fuel tank size, transmission, etc. But which one you go for is, again, entirely up to you, because you can upgrade any of these models. So if you don't like the Highline and you prefer the normal version, you are going to be able to upgrade the engines, etc. So we'll have a look in this one, because this is the much larger version. And again, it's very similar. It's just got a bigger back section. But again, as you'll see, it's got that raised midsection in the middle of the cab, because this is the R. The S is going to obviously have the flat midsection. But again, these are really nice looking trucks, and you can do lots to them. You can make them look as nice as you want. But again, I like these, I really do, and I like the sound of this truck, and you will see why when we get to that. Okay, so onto the Mercedes-Benz, and this is probably one of my least favourite, if I'm honest. But again, you know, it's personal preference. We have the Stream Space, the Giga Space, and the Big Space, and you've obviously got the Giga Space with the larger chassis, sorry. And we also are going to have the different engine sizes, fuel tank capacities, etc. All the normal things that, you know, you obviously want to be looking out for when you are first buying your trucks. But let's get into the interior. And yeah, see, for me, the interior doesn't look quite as nice as some of the others, you know. I don't know why, but they just don't, from my perspective, just don't look as aesthetically pleasing as some of the other trucks. It's nice enough, and do you know what? I haven't spent enough time behind the wheel of a Mercedes to really get to grips with it, so I might drive it and absolutely fall in love with it, just because of the way it drives. The way it looks to me, though, you know, from this perspective, I'm not 100% keen on it. But let's take a look at some of the others. So again, it's very similar. You don't have very many options. I'm hoping that there are some mods that come, or that SCS drop, you know, some nice interior options for us. But, you know, if this is all that Mercedes come with, then that's just, it is what it is, I guess. But again, you know, they all very much look the same. So in terms of interior, you're not getting particularly much different, if anything, other than what's in front of you. And it's all pretty much about the way that they drive. It's going to be about what they can do for you. What are you hauling? etc., etc. Now, again, you know, you have all the usual options for, you know, paint jobs. You're going to be able to choose a variety. You'll see a lot of the same ones that I've got in here. These are just DLC packs and mods that I've, you know, had installed. But, you know, they're okay. It's not, like I said, not the best, but it does have some upgrade options, but not very many. And that's it. That's the Mercedes, and I think that is all of them. So what we'll do is we will take them out for a spin. I'm going to pick one model from each of the different trucks from each of the different companies, and that way we can see how they drive. It'll give us a reasonable view of what each one's like to drive, because they're very similar. Let's put it that way. Okay, so we're coming to our final manufacturer, which is the Volvo. We've got the Sleeper, the Globetrotter, and the Globetrotter XL. So let's take a very quick look at the Sleeper. As you can see, it's the smaller of the trucks. Inside the cabin, yeah, it looks pretty nice. It's not too bad. They look pretty much the same, whichever one you buy, although you can get this with this rather interesting hint of greeny yellow, if you like that sort of thing. Not for me, but anyway, each to their own. We'll have a quick look inside the Globetrotter, which is obviously the nicer variant, and you can go for the XL version if you like, but we'll get inside the Globetrotter, and again, very similar inside, just gives you that bigger capacity inside, which is going to make an enormous amount of difference to you because you're just going to be driving around in it. But again, it looks nice on the outside. I have some paint jobs that I got with, I think it's a DLC pack for the Volvo, which has the exclusive paints in it. But yeah, nice, good truck, good to drive around, good horsepower. So I think it's one of the more powerful trucks in ETS2 from what I'm led to believe. But yeah, there we go. And we'll take that for a drive in a second. Okay guys, so now we've taken a good look at the truck interiors and customization options. We're now going to take each of them for a test drive. Now I'm going to pick one model in each of the ranges and just do a day-night comparison for you. However, there is going to be one slight difference, and that is with the DAF models. I'm going to take the XF and the XF Space out because, as we discussed earlier, the instrumentation panel in both of those is different. One is much larger than the other, and you're going to be able to see which one you prefer. So the XF has the larger instrumentation panel and info system, and the XF Space has the much smaller one. So if you are going to prefer that out on the road, so you don't have to use the in-game map, then clearly that's going to be the one to go for. But anyway, I hope you found it useful. We're going to take out the Iveco first. So now that that's the comparisons done, I hope that you found this video useful. I hope that if you're a newcomer to the game and you're struggling over deciding which of the trucks you want to use or which you want to buy, which you want to aim for, that this has been a helpful guide for you and has given you an insight into what is available. Please do drop a like. Subscribe to the channel for future updates. We're going to be doing lots more ETS2 and American Truck Simulator videos going forward. I'm really enjoying both of these games. There's going to be lots more maps coming. We've got a DLC coming for Greece on December the 4th, I believe, and I'm really excited about that. There's going to be more maps dropping for American Truck Simulator. And on December the 1st, I'm going to be starting a challenge in Euro Truck Simulator that involves me starting a new profile. We are going to be picking up our first truck, and basically we are going to be trying to be Santa Claus, and there will be more details coming about that very near the time. So take care, enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.